Westside Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Ellen Greenwood, and my pronouns are she and hers. It is my privilege to be the worship associate for our service this morning and to welcome you to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church. We welcome all those of you who are here with us in person, both our longtime members and all of the new faces that I see here this morning. And we welcome those of you who are joining us on YouTube, either now at this time or at some time in the future. I imagine that most of us try to put on our best selves each time we go out to face the world. But I'm also guessing that many of you, like myself, may have found that your best self simply refused to get out of bed this morning. Maybe she couldn't even drag herself to her device to join us virtually. Westside is a congregation where all of who we are is welcome, especially our rumpled, broken, not so shiny selves. We welcome each person who comes here willing to join with us in a respectful and caring community. There are announcements in your order of service, and I'm going to trust that you can read each of these carefully, but that is your responsibility and your assignment. You will be expected to know everything that's there. I have been asked to make one other announcement. Several of us last week took home the surveys concerning the plastic-free week, or our attempts at plastic freeness, and then some others of you may have downloaded those online. If you have already brought them in, and I believe Yetta said some people already have, there is a folder on the back table for them, and we're going to give you a couple more weeks, but if we can have those by Sunday, November 24th, and that day we'll have a drawing and there will be prizes, non-plastic prizes. As I said, I think most of the other announcements you can take in for yourself. If you're here in person, we also invite you, as always, to join us for coffee and conversation. Today's coffee hour will be a special time for sharing together. This will be after the YouTube part of the service has been disconnected, but our online participants will be able to join on Zoom, and our minister, Reverend Carol Bodeau, is going to take it from there and tell you a little bit about that.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to do something before I do that. We're going to move these chairs down because this is not working.
That's good. And I forgot to say anything about the kids.
That's okay, we got it. We are all in improvise and make it work as best we can mode.
Thank you. Sometimes two is better than one.
This is Be Together week, no hierarchy. This is Let's Not Be Hierarchical week. Let's not. Shall we not? Let's not be hierarchical this week. Thank you, Chris. So, I'm Reverend Carol Bodeau. I'm privileged to serve within this community of care and love and support. And I'm glad you could be here today with us. I want to welcome specifically people who are here for the first time, or maybe you're back after a while, because it's a week when we need each other. And it's a week when community matters. If you are with us virtually and you want to participate, we are not going to live stream our sharing portion of this service because that's going to be a within the community kind of thing. If you are with us virtually and you want to participate in that, Curtis is going to put a link, a Zoom link in the chat. You can click on that. Do it sooner rather than later because it is requiring registration for security purposes. We are protecting everybody who's participating in this. So you can click on that link, go to the Zoom, click on it, and you'll be able to register for that. So our service will probably end before noon so that we have more time for sharing. So that's going to be available to everybody. And also for those of you who are interested, we do have our anti-racism class starting at 12:30 this afternoon. And even if you've not participated in that, you are welcome to join us. For those of you who are participating in that virtually, the Zoom link is the same one that's already been sent to you for previous classes. So we often start our services with inviting a bowl to sound. And the bowl, what it does is it calls us present in ourselves. It invites us, it uses sound to help us get in our centers. Today, we're going to mostly be talking about love. And I just want to let families with children know that after we do our chalice lighting, kids will have the option. We will be making an option if the kids want to go hang out out in the RE wing. As soon as the chalice lighting is done, we'll make that option available to you so you can be thinking about whether or not you want to do that. But what I want to invite everybody, no matter how old you are, what's going on for you right now, I'm going to get the bowl. And while it sounds, I'm going to invite you to breathe. So as the bowl sounds, I invite you to take a couple deep breaths. Notice yourself as an individual, and then after you've done that, get yourself in your center, find you, then open your eyes and look around, because nobody's alone. So just take a minute to look around this room. No matter how frustrated you've been feeling this week, no matter how you've been coping with the week, you are in a room full of people who are here with you. And that community extends outward, virtually, in an ever-widening web of people who care. We're going to start this morning's service on a very personal note. We're going to start by mentioning a beloved member of this community, Janet Edkins, who passed this weekend. Chris and Janet were in a car accident, and Janet died in that accident, and we are remembering her this week. I want to share some words that Janet recently posted on her blog on the website, where she describes the healing properties of stones in these beautiful jewelry creations. Janet's last post had this reminder in it. I would offer you some unsolicited advice, she said. Try to remember to ask for help. Your healing journey may not be a 30-year-long slog, I hope. It may be fast. It may be simple. It might just be a revelatory experience. But however it comes to you, know that there are people out here willing to sit on the couch with a cuppa and a box of tissues if needed. She believed in the power of community. She believed in the power of love and the importance of remembering that each of us matters as individuals, but that we are part of a bigger flow of life and time and beauty and creation. She believed that our personal journeys of healing were deeply connected with the larger journey of our collective world and our collective reality. And she lived her life as a bright light of beauty, and generosity, and care. She was a person who hugged you and told you she loved you every single time. She would want for us to be doing that for each other, at both the personal and the collective struggle we are facing right now. So as we talk about bigger issues today, we're remembering Janet, and we're remembering her example. Ellen is lighting 2 candles. One is for the loss that we are all feeling. All of us who knew Janet are feeling that loss very, very personally today. But we are also lighting a candle for the light that she was, and the example that she was. That does not ever end. And in the difficult days that follow that loss or any other challenges or political challenges, that light is what we all have to keep going. So let us all just take a moment to notice that light and renew our own commitment to being a light in the world through embodying those values of love and care and joy and beauty.
And as Reverend Carol lights our chalice this morning, I'd like to share these words with you. These come from Ashley Horan, and they were on the UUA's worship web. You are loved beyond belief. You are enough. You are precious. Your work and your life matter, and you are not alone. You are part of a great cloud of witnesses, living and dead, who have insisted that this beautiful, broken world of ours is a blessing worthy of both deep gratitude and fierce protection. Our ancestors and our descendants are beckoning us, compelling us onward toward greater connection, greater compassion, greater commitment to one another and to the earth. Together, we are resilient and resourceful enough to say yes to that call, to make it our life's work in 1,000 different ways, knowing that we can do no other than bind ourselves more tightly together and throw ourselves into the holy work of showing up again and again to be part of building that world of which we dream but have not yet seen.
So in a minute, we're going to sing. We're not going to make you stand up. Ellen and I had a little conversation about that. Should we make them stand up or should we not make them stand up? We're not going to make you stand up. But while we sing, Leslie, could you stand up so the kids know who you are? So Leslie is the new coordinator of our kids programs, and if you are interested, while we're singing this song is a great time. If you are interested in going back and doing activities in the kids wing with Leslie, that would be the time to do it. So you are welcome to do that. Leslie is right there. She will stand up. The rest of us can stay seated. She will stand up. She will stand up. She will not sing a solo, but she will stand up so you can find her. So if anybody wants to go with her to hang out, this is your chance to do it while we sing. And the rest of you, I'm going to invite you to open those gray hymnals. Ellen's got one. I'll share with her. Open those gray hymnals to number 318. We're going to sing both the verses of number 318, We Would Be One. Oh,
and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, an older world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on the way. Whereupon we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice, strive to make us free.
Thanks you all for bravely singing. So I'm just going to hold this stupid microphone. That's annoying. It has been a rough week. Both the personal and the public this week have been deeply, deeply challenging for me, and I know for a lot of us. So the first thing that we really need to do in a week like this is actually very simple, but kind of hard sometimes, and that is to just breathe. I know a lot of people who are holding their breaths. So what I want to invite us to do is just breathe for a minute. Inside each of us, there is something which knows a greater sense of love and peace. Our minds right now are struggling, probably in many ways, to get there, but we each have it. So what I invite you to do is call to yourself a memory, a beautiful memory, a peaceful moment, a joyful moment, a restful moment. Call to your mind something that makes you happy to think about it. And breathe into that memory. Breathe into that knowingness. Notice in your body that we have in us the capacity to find that, regardless of external circumstances. It is easier when other people are supporting us to do that. The events of the week point out in some pretty stark clarity a few things. Life is fragile. We have less control over things than we would like to have. And things can change very abruptly in ways that we do not like and that are very threatening and upsetting to us. The loss of someone in our community is a very personal reminder of that, but also political events in our world revealed once again that we live in a nation that is deeply divided, and that there is profound disagreement, threatening, upsetting, frightening disagreement, and how to solve some very deep and very real problems in our world. So it's really important to just acknowledge loss and fear and uncertainty. we have a tendency, our minds have a tendency to want to quickly solve those problems, but our minds are not going to solve those problems today. It's not going to happen. I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of pastoral care this week. And one of the most important things we have to be able to do is find a center of well-being in the face of uncertainty, because we do not know what's going to happen. So breathe and look around the room. Look around the room. One of the most risky and challenging things that we have to be careful about in times like this is isolation. When we are feeling already kind of challenged and not super well supported, maybe, isolation is not a good thing. So being together and noticing that we're together is really important. I invite you all to remind yourself that you are in a body that is loved, that you are in a community that loves you, that you are here and that your life matters, just like our chalice lighting this morning. So the next step, the first step is breathe into yourself. Know that you are here, that you matter, and that you are loved. And after that, we have Janet's reminder to take care of each other. So I'm going to ask you to think about this question. Who in your life needs the most immediate attention right now? It may be you. My kids have this morning's crisis, which made me late this morning. My kids were texting me, Mom, remember you too, right? So the person who needs your attention right now might be you, and that is okay. But if you've got a little extra reserve, ask yourself, who can you turn towards? Maybe that's a family member or a friend. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's a young person that you know but isn't personally in your immediate circle. Maybe it's someone in this congregation. Above all of the debating and strategizing and all the mental things we're going to be doing to try to figure stuff out, the most important thing we can do is turn to each other and say, what do you need right now? What do you need? That is fuel. That is fuel. It's only after we have taken the time to take care of the most immediate needs of our own minds and our hearts and our bodies, and then the minds and the hearts and the bodies of those we love, that we're going to have the resources to strategize and figure out next steps. Some of you heard me say last week that one of my coping strategies is baking. There's so much baked goods in my house right now. Okay, like I had a day this week where I was just like, I don't care how much applesauce bread I eat. Today I'm eating as much applesauce bread as I want. It was most of the day. It was most of my diet for most of the day. That was what I did. Now my brain might have said, oh, that's a bad strategy. You need to blah, 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 blah. No shoulding. No shoulding. Shoulding is off limits right now. Okay? Right now, shoulding is off limits. What do I need? What will lift me up is really important. Also, just as a aside to that, I also watched a lot of the Great British Baking Show, which when my capacity for sweet things to eat reaches its limit, and I'm like, I can't, then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to watch other people make sweets. Okay. Also, a lot of Hallmark, which is a mixed thing. We could talk about that later. But the other thing I did a lot is I talked a lot to my family. I called my parents. I texted with my kids. I called my kids. I checked on people, right? I watched the sunset. I listened to the wind blowing through the trees. And those things help refuel me to then turn around and do things that need to be done to continue to live my values, right? Because what are we worried about? We're worried we're not going to be able to live the fullest lives that we want to live, which means living our values fully in the world. We are going to be able to do that because we are creative and resourceful. One of my strategies today was to wear my Jet Pig shirt. Now, some of you have not met Jet Pig yet. Some of you have, but I'm going to tell you about Jet Pig again. So the Unitarian Universalist, isn't he cute? He's very cute. He's a little pig with a jetpack, okay? And people are like, why? Why a jet pig? Here's why. Because the Unitarian Universalist Association has proclaimed very clearly a set of values, the initials for which, when you put them together, spell jet pig. Now, at the center of this he's wearing, I think he's wearing overalls, which is, for me as a farmer, super cute, okay? But in the center, he's got a little heart that says love, because the denomination has proclaimed that at the center is love and care. And love and care are what fuel, they're the jet fuel. I love that. It's the jet fuel for justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Those are the values that we as a denomination say we care about, that we are passionate about, and that we are going to live our lives supporting. But the fuel for little jet pig's jetpack here is love. That's at the center of this community. It's at the center of our denomination, and it's what fuels all those other things. So those things live in my body. I had a conversation with someone today who was really struggling, and I've asked them, I've asked a lot of people, and I even wrote this in my blog this week. Can we ask ourselves, what will I continue to be and do no matter what happens externally? Right? Believing in justice, nobody can take belief in justice away from me. Nobody can take my commitment to equity away from me. Nobody can stop me from transforming. Nobody can stop my commitment to pluralism and diversity. No one can stop my commitment to interdependence and love of the earth, or my willingness to be generous. I can take those actions that embody those things no matter what's happening in the world around me, right? And of course, sometimes that takes more courage than other times. Sometimes it's harder than other times. So it also takes persistence and commitment. And sustaining that sort of long-term commitment takes knowing something else. This is something that I think we need to be reminded of this week. Love at the center is fuel. And here's what I believe about love. Love is always stronger than fear. Love is always a stronger and better fuel than fear. Now, fear can give us immediate action, but it's not a marathon kind of thing. Fear drains us, and it debilitates us, even as it gives us that burst of energy to get away from the tiger, right? Fear will do that. It will give us that initial burst of energy, but it's not going to sustain us for the long run. The only thing that's going to sustain a long-term energy use is love. Love is empowering and it is energizing. It fuels courage, and it fuels creativity, and it fuels fortitude. It fuels memories of those who are no longer with us, who have done inspirational, amazing, beautiful things. It propels us to make things better for those yet to come. It gives us necessary resolve to keep going in the face of challenges. It lifts our spirits when our spirits begin to flag. So we have the challenge to turn towards love when fear is banging on the door. When fear and uncertainty are banging on the door, turning towards love is of us, and to all generations yet to come, his legacy, which was fueled by his love of his values and his commitment and his persistence, his legacy echoes on and on and on and continues to work in the world every single day. So even though we are limited in our time here on this earth and limited in the scope of our personal actions, living our values as powerfully as we can in fact extend beyond what we think is our reach. Here are some words from Dr. King's sermon given that day in 1968 at the National Cathedral in Washington. This was given to a crowd of 3,000 people inside the cathedral and another 1,000 outside. He said this: "We are tied together, in a single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, whatever one affects one of us directly affects all of us indirectly. Somewhere," he said, "we must come to see that human progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability." This is important. It doesn't just come along. It comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of dedicated individuals. And without this hard work, time itself becomes an ally of the forces of stagnation. So however dark it is, he said, however deep the angry feelings and the violent explosions are, he said, I can still sing, "We shall overcome." And this is really the most famous quote from the sermon. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Okay? It bends towards justice. Dr. King stressed that platitudes are not enough to create justice on earth. He believed that action and persistence and courage are essential, but he also believed that love was a force to fuel those things. Martin Luther King did not think love was a platitude. We have been trained to think that love is mushy, smushy, just a word, but that's not true at all. It is a force. When it is harnessed and allowed to guide our thoughts and actions, it is an incredible power. We are limited in our time here on earth, and we are limited in the scope of material actions we can do, but our love and our commitment and our persistence can, in fact, change things. Like water working around boulders in a stream, love finds a way. Love changes what it touches. Love can carve new channels where no opportunity seemed to previously exist. It can wear down impediments with its sheer, persistent determination. It can cool us like a cooling rain, or warm us like the warm bubble bath so many of us really needed or wanted this week, right? Love is a force and a source. And I know that people are tired right now. Personal stuff, political stuff. It's been a rough week. I'm pretty sure that many of us are exhausted with rhetoric that amps up fear and confusion and polarization. We're tired of having the same conversations over and over and over again, feeling like they're not getting anywhere. So, rest is really important and a good first step. Breathing and taking care of ourselves and one another is essential. Acting with love and care towards ourselves and those closest to us is a way of recharging our batteries and helping those around us recharge and refuel. That, in turn, might give us the resolve to face the challenges of the day with faith instead of fear, with hope instead of hopelessness, and with a deep sense of unity, which is what we need to counter all this polarization and divisiveness. Then we get to choose how we want to act. And like I said before, should is not a good option right now. So I want to invite and encourage all of you to reflect on this. The response of the human brain to crisis is to quickly come up with a solution and want it to get enacted. This should happen. it's probably not the way things are going to work right now in a lot of ways, because we do not know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. So when that should comes up in your brain, for yourself or another, well, I shouldn't feel this way, well, I should get out there, well, I should whatever, for yourself, or they should, take a step back, take a breath, and ask yourself, what's the loving thing to do right now? What's the loving thing to do right now? For me, for my family, for my community. From that place, we can act individually and collectively in ways that then affirm love in the world, right? Isn't that at the center of what we want? Don't we want a world that is centered in affirming love rather than fear? So the challenge to us all is, if we want a world centered in affirming love rather than fear, we have to act from love rather than fear, which means we need to take care of ourselves when the fear is strong. Life is very short and very precious. There's really no time to lose in loving the world, but there are infinite ways to do it. There are infinite ways to love the world. We can offer each other material resources and emotional support. We can provide one another reminders to rest. We can just have a laugh together. You can enjoy a sunset. We can help one another keep perspective. We can listen deeply to each other. Janet's advice, we can just sit on the couch with a cuppa and a box of tissues and listen to one another. Now, in a few moments, that's what we're going to do. Of course, I want to reassure you all that this is not going to be the only thing we do in the coming weeks and months. There will be lots of other, much more out in the world things that we can and will do to continue to live and support the values that we have. But just for today, what I'd invite you to do is be ready to share and listen. So again, for those of you who are with us virtually, I want to remind you that that Zoom room is open. We're going to take just a minute to try to get our Zoom stuff going. We're going to sing a song first, because I figure y'all need to stand up and move around and physically move your bodies a little bit. So I will remind you that justice and generosity is part of what we do. Today, our biggest justice and generosity action is just going to be listening and sharing. As always, you can contribute to Westside financially. You can support the activities we're doing. I will tell you, you don't need those hymnals for the song we're going to sing, because I'm going to shout out the words. You can pre-read them if you'd like to. But the main thing, justice and generosity right now, is continue to show up. Continue to show up as you're able. So, all right, I know the words are going to be up there, but I'm going to encourage you to put the books down. I know they're handy. I know they're convenient, but just put them down. Leave them on your chairs. Stand up. If you are able, willing, and able to stand up. It matters less that you get the words right than that you are connected to those around you. So we're going to do this. Now, this is the part where we hold hands if you want to. This is the hand-holding part. All right. If you need to hold the book, but, all right. So what we're going to do is, choir already knows this. Some of you already know this. We're going to start singing it, and we're just going to keep singing it until we're done. All right? So, choir, are you ready? Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep keep the circle. Again, and I'll shout out the words. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for free. Circle round for peace. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for circle for the planet. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. So look around and notice the circle. It's a multi-layered circle. It's not a perfect circle. It's a circle made of exactly who we are, where we are right now today. That is the circle we are going to continue to love and struggle and fight and live for. The circle that begins in this room but extends far, far, far outside of this room. So I invite you all to just take a moment to feel what it feels like to be not alone, to be in a circle of community, to be held and to be valued. So in a few minutes, we're going to start our Zoom session. I invite you to please participate in that as you are willing and able. But if you are leaving, please leave knowing that you matter and that love is always stronger than fear. Go in peace, go knowing you are loved, and go in passion. Maybe so.